Hi, I'm Georgette Miller, and welcome to our show. Now, the purpose of this show is for you, the audience. Look, I started my practice 12 years ago. I've been practicing as an attorney, and I spent the majority of that time really representing large institutions. When I started my own practice in 2008, I realized that as individuals, we did not take the same steps that companies do to plan for their future, to plan for growth, to plan for all the things that happen to them as a company. I realized that as individuals, we could take the same premises, the same tools, the same steps, and plan for our own individual lives. So the real intent of the show is so that we can educate you, the audience, that you can walk away with tangible things, tangible tools, so that you can plan for a better financial life. You can be prepared for when life happens. Let's start. Today's topic is 401k's. Now, they're not quite as mysterious as we think they are. And it's for your retirement. Now, my father said to me years ago, child, the best young person that will take care of you in your old age is the young person you are today. So you have to start putting money away today for your retired 62, 64, 67, 60-year-old self. And so if you're not preparing you, the young person, for you, the old person will find that they haven't put enough money away so that their standard of life or how they live their life in their retirement will be easier, harder, whatever. But what I want you to understand is 401k pension, 403b's. We say 401k today because it's the thing that we most know about. But whatever your retirement account is, we're going to talk about taking care of you when you're retired. How do you go about doing that? What is available to you? Should you be doing it? Again, you'll hear me say this throughout this episode. The best young person that will take care of you in your old age is the young person you are today. We'll be right back. I was born and raised in Jamaica. Came to this country when I was 19 years old. Came here with nothing to no one and was almost homeless. I went to school full-time at John Jay College of Criminal Justice and worked full-time. I actually just had a conversation with my old boss. I used to be her executive assistant. I then went to Rutgers Camden for law school, got my JD degree there, and started working at one of the larger Philadelphia law firms, and went to quite a few law firms in my career, many of which you know or have heard of. And what made me leave large law firm practice was, there are some of my friends that said I found Jesus and lost my mind, but the reason I think I left large law firm practice was I saw that there was this void within the minority community. I mean, I saw that there were things that I took for granted that I knew that when speaking to someone in the minority community, they felt like I was speaking a different language. And I realized, there's this saying that my mom always says to me, child, from a lack of knowledge, you will always perish. And I live my life by this principle. I heard Maya Angelou said it years ago, and it never left me. And she said her grandmother had said to her, when you get, you give. And when you learn, you teach. I believe that I've been given so much that it would almost be a dishonor to what I've been given to not give back. And I've also been taught so much. I've been able to be in boardrooms. I've been able to be in part of large transactions. I've been able to be a part of the elite Wall Street money group. I've learned so much from them, and I've been given the opportunity to be in that environment. I felt a moral obligation to teach the community that knows so very little. And the lack of knowledge within the minority community is palpable. I see these people walking into my office, and just the things that come out of their mouths, the things that they believe, it's just absolutely unbelievable. Unbelievable to think that you're 40, 50, 60 years old and you have not saved for that period in your life because it just didn't occur to you. Not that you didn't work hard. With the Georgette Miller Show, you're going to get the truth. I'm not here to tell you fairy tales or anything like that. You're going to get the truth. Welcome back. Now, there are 3 topics we want to get through, and I'm going to start each topic with a fact. That way we make sure, I really want to make sure, this is really important to be near and dear to my heart. I really want to make sure we have a clear outline for you guys. Now, the first fact I want to start with is in a study, a recent study, 43% of American workers had less than $10,000 in their retirement savings account. Guys, young person that's going to take care of you in your old age is the young person you are today. If you're not contributing to your 401k, especially if your employer matches your 401k, that is money you are leaving on the table. How you make sure that you're okay when you're retired is you start saving a little over a long period of time. So you want to start squirreling away money as early as you possibly can for when you're retired. Now, how a 401k works is your employer basically, you tell your employer how much to take prior, it's called, you have before tax dollars and after tax dollars. A traditional 401k is before tax dollars. So you tell your employer, put away 10, 15% of my income over the year, and your employer has signed up with some kind of investment company. I know from my firm, we're with I think it's American Funds, but whoever it is. And they take that money and you tell them how to invest it in what funds, moderate risk, high risk, no risk, whatever. Well, what you're doing is you're taking money before it's taxed, and the federal government allows you to do that. Take your part of your pay before it's taxed to be invested. And as long as you leave that money alone and you don't touch it, when whatever interest is accrued over 10, 15, 20 years when you retire, it doesn't get taxed. The money earned on the money invested doesn't get taxed at all if you wait until you retire and you take it out. Okay? So moral of the story is this. If your employer offers you a 401k plan and you're not putting your money away, especially if it's being matched, you are leaving money on the table. Fact 2. Back in 2007, the median account balance for individuals with 401k plan was $78,000. So back in 2007, people only had, on average, $78,000 for their retirement. Now think about this. How much are you earning right now? If your salary is $30,000 a year, if you only have $78,000 put away, you have maybe 2.5 years 2.5 years worth of income for when you retire. Guys, that may not be enough. We got to get in on the game. We got to get it in early. You've got to squirrel this money away. If you're putting money in your 401k, if you're not putting money in your 401k, what are you doing with it? Is there a cup of coffee that you're buying that you wouldn't quite miss? Is that going out to dinner once or twice a month? If you cut that out, would it be in your best interest to cut it out and invest it in a 401k plan, 403b plan, Roth 401k plan, anything? Retirement accounts are incredibly important. Also, I really want you guys to get this. When you put money in your 401k, it is not an ATM machine. So you don't put money in there to just turn around and take it out. You're putting money away in your 401k, your 403b plan, your retirement account for your retirement. What you got to understand is if you take that money out early, on average, you will incur a 40% tax. What does that mean in real numbers? You decide that you're going to borrow, take out from your 401k, and you need to take out $10,000. You make the request, they send you a check for $10,000, right? In some instances, it's a loan, and you can pay back that $10,000 over the next 5 years. But say, for instance, you didn't take out a loan, or you lose the job, and so they're not taking out that amount out of your paycheck to pay back that loan. What's the ramification? You borrowed $10,000, but at the end of the year, Uncle Sam and your state government will come knocking on your door. They want $4,000 back. So you believed you borrowed $10,000, but in reality, all you borrowed was really $6,000 because $4,000 needs to go back to your federal and state government. So the moral of that story is, if you are putting money in your retirement account, it is not an ATM machine. It is an account for your retirement. If you're going to take money out and tap into that ATM machine, be prepared to pay back 40% of what it is that you borrowed. Last and final fact. A Roth 401k option using after-tax employee contributions has become increasingly available. 45.5% of plans offer a Roth 401k, and that's up from 18.4% in 2006. Now that's a mouthful, but this is what it is. A traditional 401k is before tax dollars, and that's capped. That's capped at, I believe, $15,000 a year, and it may be a higher amount if you're over 55. In addition to a traditional 401k, you have the opportunity to do a Roth 401k. And I believe what that is after tax dollars. So if you've maxed out on the $15,000 and you really want to put more money into your 401k, you have the option of putting in a Roth 401k. And I believe the limit for that would be somewhere in the neighborhood of about $5,000 a year. So you could each year in total put away up to approximately $20,000 in your retirement account through your paycheck. Now think about how that could mushroom. You're a 20-year-old, a 30-year-old, you finally got out of grad school and you have 2 pennies to rub together. And you've decided in your early 30s to put away $20,000 a year in principal for another 20, 30 years. Year 1, that's $20,000 plus interest. Year 2, $20,000, $40,000. Year 10, in principal. In year 5, in principal, you will have put away $100,000. And that's just the principle. We're not talking about the interest that's accruing in these funds to your benefit. Think about that. That's powerful savings. That's you being the young person taking care of yourself in your old age. Now, my goal for retirement is to be sitting on a beach somewhere drinking copious amounts of Diet Coke for the rest of my life. If you're putting away from your 30s $20,000 a year, at age 60, you are just maxing and relaxing, drinking copious amounts of Diet Coke. We'll be right back. Okay, guys, this is the part of the show where we take questions from you guys, the audience. Our first question comes to us by Facebook, and it's from Janine. Janine's question is, what is my best course of action if my employer doesn't offer a 401k? Okay, great question. That means you're planning ahead. Love it. If your employer doesn't offer a traditional 401k or a Roth 401k, you as an individual have the right to what's called an IRA, an individual retirement account. And there are several of them, but I'll try to keep it simple. The two we're going to talk about is a simple IRA or a Roth IRA. And the simple IRA is basically you use before tax dollars, similar how you use before tax dollars for a simple 401k. And you can go to your local bank. I find that most banks, whoever you're banking with, whoever is your credit union, just walk into the office and find out, okay, I want to open up a regular or a before tax IRA. How do I go about doing that? And they will walk you through the steps. I believe there are caps, somewhere in the neighborhood of $5,000 to $15,000 for a simple IRA. You also have, similarly to a Roth 401k, you as an individual can open a Roth individual retirement account or a Roth IRA. And that says after tax dollars. So after you get your paycheck, before you send, after you send all your taxes to Uncle Sam and your state government, you can walk into a traditional bank, whoever you bank with, your credit union, and say, listen, I want to open up a Roth IRA. And I believe the caps for that is $5,000 as well. Now, there's a SEP IRA, there are all these other IRA accounts that are available to you. But what I would tell you to do is walk into your local bank or interview financial advisors, find one that you're comfortable with, because a financial advisor is someone you really need to have a good sense and really feel like they have your best interest at heart. My financial advisor has been with me since 1999, 13 years, and I've been with him for 13 years because I trust him. So find one you trust and sit down and go through the various other IRA accounts that are available to you. Long and short of it is, if your employer doesn't offer you a 401k, that's not an excuse for you, the young person that you are today, to invest and save for the old person that you will become when you retire. There's a myriad of options out there for you. Walk into your local bank, find a financial advisor, and come up with a strategy. We'll be back.
Questions you want answered? Connect with Georgette on Facebook.
Okay, now we're going to go to the phones. And I believe we have Brianna on the line.
Hi, Georgette. What happens to my 401k if I leave my current employer?
Good question. Okay. You are contributing to a 401k and you're about to leave, or you've left your job. What happens to that money? Well, you have two options. The first option is you can leave it with whomever you are with, meaning that whomever your employer had the money invested with, you will still get statements from that for us it's Amerifunds. You'll still get statements from whoever has the money invested every year telling you how your money is working. You also have the option to roll it over into a different investment company. I know that Fidelity and other companies like this have rollover 401k accounts. You can also roll it over. You should check with your employer and see if you can roll it over into the 401k plan that your current employer has, if your current employer has a 401k plan. So basically, the money that is invested continues to roll and churn in the current 401k plan with your previous employer. You have the option of rolling it over into a 401k plan or a 401k account with a company like Fidelity, Merrill Lynch, whomever, or you can roll it over into the 401k plan for your current employer, if your current employer gives you that as an option. So the money just doesn't vanishes or disappears or you lose it. But what I want to talk about is for those of you who leave your job and you had loans outstanding against your 401k. That's where you kind of run into problems. Because what's going to happen is once you leave your job, you have two options. You either pay back the money that you borrowed, or it's going to be taken out as a full loan, meaning that they're going to report what you haven't paid back to the federal government and to the state government. And you will now, at the end of that year, be liable for a 40% tax on the money that is outstanding. Got it? I find that if you leave your job and you have no loans, you don't really have any problem. Money churns, or you move it into a different rollover IRA 401k account. But if you have loans outstanding, you can find yourself in a real jam because got to pay back the lump sum, or notice is going to be sent to the federal government and you will now owe a 40% tax bill. We'll be right back. After you're done watching my show, you're going to look at me and hear me in your ear. I'm almost like your inner cheerleader or inner scolder or inner whatever you want to characterize me. I don't care. But I want to be in your ear. So that when you walk into that store and you want to buy that 52-inch plasma, but you can't write a check for it, I want you hearing me saying to you, can you really afford that? Because if you can't write a check for it, it ain't for you. But when you do have the money for the 52-inch plasma, and you walk into that store that will remain nameless, and they say, well, John Public, why don't you take out a charge for it? You can pay it off interest-free over 12 months, or whatever bait they bait you to get that credit card, you can say, nah, not really. I have a check for it. I'm going to pay for it cash so that when I walk out, it's mine. So consider me your new cheerleader, scolder, whatever you want to call me, but I'm going to be in your ear the minute you leave this show. Okay, guys, favorite part of my show. You guys know this. This is where we demystify the foolishness. And here the foolishness for me is you're 20 years old, 30 years old, and you think, oh, I have all the time in the world to worry about my retirement. Foolishness. You save a little over a long period of time so that in your old age, you will be A-OK. If your employer has a 401k plan and you're not contributing, you, the young person, is not taking care of you, the old person, in your retirement. You've got to start early. You got to squirrel away a little over a long period of time. And for those of you that are working in jobs where your employer doesn't offer a 401k, you're not off the hook. You have options. Walk into your local bank. Find out, how do I enroll in a Roth IRA or a traditional IRA? Find out, go to your church, your local community. Find out who is the financial advisor or the insurance broker in the group. Find someone you trust. Start early. Remember, you have the option of putting away up to $20,000 a year in your 401k or IRAs so that you prepare for your old age. I don't know. I'm 39, will be 40 this year. From everything I'm being told, Social Security won't be there for me when I retire. So I need to start preparing today so that I have enough money so that when I retire, I am sitting on a beach drinking copious amounts of Diet Coke. Your retirement is in your hands today, and you have options. Start now, start early, so that you too will be sitting on a beach drinking copious amounts of Diet Coke. We'll be right back. Okay, guys, in this episode, we talked about a 401k. And when I say 401k, I spoke in general terms. In some companies, it's a thrift savings plan. It's a 403b. We're talking about retirement accounts. The long and short of it is, we're talking about what you should do, active steps you should be taking in order to prepare for your retirement. Also, we talked about the fact that, listen, your retirement account is not an ATM machine. It's savings for your retirement. So when you fall into hard times or think you need a loan, you shouldn't be really running to your retirement account to tapping that Mac machine. Why? The ramifications are significant. What are they? You're looking at a 40% bill in the event you don't pay that loan back. So, as they say in my country, walk good. And I'll also end with this, how I started. The best young person that will take care of you in your old age is the young person you are today.